All right, man. James Bradberry explained why he picked the Giants over the Lions in free agency. He ended up getting the second largest deal by a cornerback behind Byron Jones. And we also going to talk about how stupid Matt Patricia actually is, man. And I'm going to correlate that to James Bradberry's situation. So y'all understand it. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, bell icon button, share the video. More City Sports Talk version of the video. So hopefully everybody, tune in until I get the channel back. So there could be a minute. But James Bradberry, I think Dave Gettleman might have been the GM in Carolina. Bradberry came out of Sanford. He's 6'1". Pretty good corner. Dope. I think he's a pretty good corner. But I'll tell you why. The Lions picking up trying to get Bradberry was another dumbass decision by Matt Patricia. Okay. But he said he chose the Giants because he was more familiar with Gettleman. He knew some players over there, and he knew what type of organization Gettleman was trying to build in New York. Now, Dave Gettleman, if you don't know, is the guy who picked Daniel Jones in the draft, and it seemed to honestly work out for him, in my opinion. He just seemed to make a lot of dumb decisions. He just seemed not to be a smart football guy in some people's opinion, but just because you don't go with the conventional wisdom doesn't make you a dumb football guy. All right. I love Daniel Jones' game. He got it right so far. Now he could be wrong. And, Daniel Jones can go into the shitter. But right now I like what I'm seeing from Daniel Jones. He pulled the plug on Eli. So he pushing the right buttons. Was him and the guy from Divine Childs and Dearborn Heights a good pick? Forget the dude's name. Y'all know the coach they just got rid of was a good fit. Maybe not. But he basically said, I just knew some people over there and I was more comfortable knowing people in the Giants organization. You can't get mad at that. A lot of people is scared to make a jump, that they don't know, what's behind the door or what's on the other side of the jump. You know what I'm saying? So they try to go somewhere where they familiar. They know somebody to make them feel comfortable. The same thing when you about to go to high school and you want to go to high school with your friends because you're going to have some type of, friends to kick it with, or, you're going to have some type of protection. You're going to have each other back. Same thing in NFL. A lot of these players, you got to weigh more than dollar signs. You got to weigh fit. You got to weigh the coaching style. You got to weigh the how can I say this? You got to weigh how good the organization is. And he said wasn't nothing wrong with Detroit. He said there was no red flags when I tried to go to Detroit, which I don't completely agree with that, but that's his opinion. You know what I'm saying? I think it was some red flags. There's a lot of stuff going on between what Richard Sherman was saying and Barry Sanders, Calvin Johnson. But according to him, I only could take him at his word. There was no red flags. He said he just felt more comfortable in New York. It wasn't more money on the table from New York. He had a 3-year deal. And it just seemed like Matt Patricia didn't value Darius Slay. But he valued Bradberry. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes when you let personal feelings get in the way, this is what you have happen. I see why New England coaches ain't successful. Because, once you try to show some individuality or show that you different, they want you to just be another number. I equate them to the government. The government want everybody to fall in line, everybody to bleed ABS. But the minute somebody show leadership qualities and try to wake people up, they try to shut them down. Maybe the holistic doctors they allegedly has been coming up dead over the last few years. Maybe the leaders black leaders they helped take out, or the leaders in the Middle East they took out, or whatever situation may be. And it seems that Patricia, McDaniels, O'Brien, Flores, even Bill Belichick, but it worked from him. And people forget he was on the hot seat before Brady came along. But it seemed like they want to just be like the government and run a dictatorship, even a step further, where you think you free and, freedom of speech. No, it's a dictatorship. It's a dictatorship. So I think Darius Slay should have seen the writing on the wall when they paid Justin Coleman all that money. And I'm gonna continue to prove my point in a minute. They paid Coleman all that money. He wasn't no good fit. They tried to get Richard Sherman over here. He wasn't no good fit. Matt Patricia don't know shit about football. I'm gonna tell you that right now. He don't know nothing about what he doing. James Bradberry is a system cornerback, like a true system cornerback. Bradberry and Richard Sherman, two corners that Matt Patricia say better than Darius Slay. And that's in the system that the Lions run, a 99.9% man system. You know what I'm saying? Bradberry is not designed to do what Darius Slay can do. This motherfucker run a 4.5. You know what I'm saying? He just like Josh Norman. The Redskins thought they was getting the top corner when they got Josh Norman. A guy that can travel in the slot, a guy that can travel to the X, travel to the Y, cover some tight ends. Hell no. He was a product of playing in the Ron Rivera's zone system. Bradberry had the dope front end. From Kuechly to Gerald McCoy to all them dudes they had up front. Carolina, they had some issues stopping the run this year, but they got pressure on the quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Did they have some issues down the stretch? You know, when Kyle Allen was turning the ball over and the defense fell apart? Yeah. But obviously, they front seven is better than the Lions front seven. So he didn't have to travel and cover the best corner. He didn't have to cover the best corner being a man corner. He was playing in a predominantly zone scheme that works for them. You know, that works for what he do well. That's the scheme he was playing in. He wasn't playing in the man-to-man scheme. Darius Slay with no pass rush. Those people got to understand. Darius Slay guard. You can't grab the receivers no more. You can't wear the stick them. You can't hold them. Straight man-to-man. Most of you niggas out there, y'all can't even line up next to y'all 3-year-old, 4-year-old son and catch him in the house. So for you to, you know, try to understand or try to fathom what Darius Slay is doing out there, Rashad Melvin is doing, and Coleman is doing, it's beyond me. He played Justin Coleman all that money, and he was the worst player in coverage last year. I don't know what he ended off here, but he was getting burnt like toast. Bradberry is not a good fit for what Patricia want to do, unless Patricia is going to switch his defense up next year and play more zone. He only played zone at the end of the year because he had injuries. Bradberry and Richard Sherman can't hold Darius Slay jockstrap in that system. They are zone guys. Darius Slay can play zone. He learned in his rookie year. But he was willing to give his money to Bradberry because personally he didn't like Darius Slay. That's what it came down to. Because player for player, you put Darius Slay out there in motherfucking Carolina, he gonna have more than 2 and 3 picks. What they respectively both had last year. Darius Slay had 2, and Bradberry had 3. With that front seven they had in the Ron Rivera system, Darius Slay was gonna eat. For real. You put Bradberry with the Lions, I guarantee you he don't get the money he got this year. He's a zone corner. Why is Patricia trying to go replace Darius Slay with 2 zone corners? He tried to replace him with Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman said, no, I can't play in that defense. He kept it real with himself. He tried to replace him with Bradberry. And Bradberry can't play in that defense. You know, but the guys that can play man-to-man coverage good, he don't want them. Bradley Roby, Jimmy Smith, who I think went back to the Ravens, he don't want them dudes. He keep trying to put zone motherfuckers. And you can tell, if I'm lying, why didn't Justin Coleman work out? He was supposed to be a perfect fit. But Patricia don't know what he's doing, bro. He don't know how to evaluate talent. It wasn't just no brain fart, no brain freeze when he said, don't know pass rushers rush with speed. People say, oh, I knew what he meant. No, you didn't know what he meant because he didn't know he knew what the fuck he was saying. He's an idiot. He's a stone cold idiot, bro. Bradberry did the right thing. You're not about to come there and get exposed. And then the city of Detroit turn on you because you getting burnt. For real. Because that's what's about to happen. That's what's going to happen. Him and Richard Sherman can't survive in this system. And 90% of cornerbacks in the league can survive in this system. Only motherfuckers like Tre'Davious White, Stephon Gilmore, only elite, a few corners can survive in this system. Jalen Ramsey. But the thing about Jalen Ramsey is he not that good of a zone corner. You don't really have, too many cornerbacks that can do both of them. Zone is more you looking back, reading the quarterback. You know what I'm saying? And Bradberry is good in run support. He a good corner. You playing cover 3, cover 4. He can tackle, cover Tampa 2, cover 2. You know what I'm saying? He can play all those positions. But you asking somebody to travel and cover the best corner, he gonna get cooked. He gonna get cooked. Patricia truly don't know how to evaluate talent, bro. I'm telling you. He don't know how to evaluate talent. And it's sad, bro. He getting exposed a lot now. Not just for being an asshole. When you hear these stories, you think anybody want to come to Detroit after hearing him tell a player stop sucking somebody else? You crazy. I would have stumped the life out of him, man. I would have stumped all my frustration out of him. But he's stupid. He's stupid. He don't know. He got a system, but he doesn't have the right job description for some of the spots. Like, why you think he keep going through safeties like a Rolodex? He don't know what he's looking for at safety. He don't know what he's looking for at corner. I can tell you that. If you asking somebody to go in there and play man-to-man coverage 90-something% of the time, Richard Sherman and James Bradberry, they not that guy. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, it's just my opinion on it, man. But, hey, Bradberry did what's best for him and his family. Like I said, this Lion organization is as toxic as it's ever been. I think it's more toxic and more I think it's not as I think it's worse. Its appeal is worse than when they went on 16. But hey, let me know what you guys think. I'll link the Free Press article in the description. Don't forget to be on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Want to make a donation, Cash App, PayPal in the description. Appreciate the love, support. One time for the one time. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And yeah, man. Shout out to Bradberry and his big deal with the